episode. We're still examining Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's 5-point agenda, and today we're looking at economic prosperity. I didn't even introduce my co-host. Hi, Ade.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Ijoma. I mean, I like that. I like today's topic. I like that we're looking at economic prosperity because I'm an Igbo woman. We like money.
Wow. So. Since you like it, let's start with you. Let's start with your take on economic prosperity.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. We've moved from top to bottom. I mean, we've moved from naira at $1 to 175 naira to what it is today, 740. That's more than 100% increase, more than 200% increase actually. So I mean, it shows you how much our currency has fallen under the watch of the APC. It shows you also looking at Nigeria. On its way to becoming the new poverty capital of the world. I mean, the people are poor, we are impoverished, and Nigeria is just at its worst time in terms of economy. It's at one of its, it's in economic doldrums right now, and a lot needs to be done to salvage this economy. There's a lot that can be done. There's a lot of room to do more, and it's not as if we're in this place because we don't have things that we can do to to salvage it, but because we've basically been fronting the wrong people, putting the wrong people to manage affairs, that's why we are where we are.
I like talking about it in layman's language, like you just said, putting the wrong people to manage the affairs of Nigeria, and seeing how the Nigeria economy has fallen and is still falling, and we're praying that come February 2023 we would have a stop to it and the situation that is coming in. And that's why that's why we're looking at Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's 5-point agenda and his take on economic prosperity. So I'm just going to go straight to reading it out on what he intends to do for Nigeria economy and how he intends to salvage the economy from where it is right now, from inflation and the rest of it. Aside from what we're talking before we came live on the show, aside from privatization that he said, and aside from looking at non-oil aspects, there are other aspects of which he had stated that he's going to be working on to make sure the economy comes back and bounce back to normal. These days we can't even put out our faces there as the giants of Africa, because we're now, I don't think Nigeria is
even Ghana seems to be doing better than
Nigeria, and it's really sad. It's really sad because Nigeria is blessed. We have too many natural resources. We have hardworking citizens. Nigerians are very hardworking people, and we've said it over time that whatever you give to a Nigerian to do, especially a woman, this is every woman, you're sure to have it prosper and double times 2. So I'll just go straight to looking at the economy of our dream according to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and it states that it's to build a competitive and resilient economy and remain the largest in Africa and the 15th largest globally, with a GDP per capita raised from the current levels of approximately $2,000 US to $5,000 by 2030. And this is not something that he's just stating or writing in books or writing that for you to read and feel good. And we've seen the tremendous change, some of which we're enjoying today, right, of what he has done when he was vice president. So he, like I keep saying on the show, he has first-hand experience in really Nigeria, and we've seen the achievements in which he attained when he was vice president. So this is not, we're not going to be used to, it's not surprising to know that he has said he's going to do this, and we're sure he's actually going to do this.
Like you said, we've seen his laurels, we've seen his achievements, he's done it before, he's going to do it again. Under his watch and under his chairmanship, the Economic Council, between 1999 and 2007, Nigeria became the second largest, in terms of economy in the entire Africa. And I like that you said that Nigerians are not lazy, because Nigerians are the most hardworking people. I know that somebody said we are lazy, but let's keeping that aside. You look at it and you see that 2 Nigerian men are richer than Oprah Winfrey. Aliko Dangote, Mike Adenuga, these are some of the richest men in Africa, richest black men in the entire world.
And they're actually Nigerians.
billionaires in dollars. And then you look at how much we and these are people that are working within Nigeria. Their businesses are situated within Nigeria. They're making their money from Nigeria. It shows you the kind of potential that we have inherent in this country, and we've let go to waste because we're not harnessing it. I mean, so many times with a lot of Nigerians migrating and leaving Nigeria, we see these people travel outside the country and they are making money. It shows you that they are being poor here is because of a lack of opportunity. And that's simply what it is, because the government has failed to create avenues or create opportunities where people can invest their money and get returns. I mean, imagine, I know a friend who invested money into agricultural produce, and because of the poor condition of the roads, the vehicle could not make it from one part of the country where they got the product from to the other part of the country where the products were needed. And what happened was that half of all the produce that was bought spoiled on the road. And that's somebody's income. That's somebody's, money going.
I think we're actually going to look at infrastructure, because it's also one of our larger Atiku Abubakar's 5-point agenda, infrastructure, because just to pick up or just to add or to what you said, if we have poor infrastructure, I don't think we're going to have the non-oil sectors like agriculture thrive. And Nigeria is blessed. Nigeria is blessed with, we have vast agricultural produce, we have natural resources, and it's something that we really need to look into and harness, to make it to make it thrive. We're just going to go on a very quick break, but when we're right back, we'll take it up from where we stop, looking at other aspects and other points from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Don't go nowhere.
This story did not begin in the wealthiest of wombs, or streams flowing with liquid gold and silver spoons dipped into stews garnished with privilege. In this story, shepherds of rolling herds fetching feed for the famished of the flock. There was no power in his homestead, but everyone agreed. His heart shone with the radiance of 1,000 fireflies, regardless of how dark the night. These were different times, grassroots times. Kojoli was the place he first learned to dream, under the soft glow of crackling firewood flame, to ask, what miracle can these pauper hands grow, and to pray the prayer of a seed in dirt. But dirt is a fertile ground for the germination of being. This story, from the wind-swept northeastern landscapes in all their glorious barrenness, with the gates of his father's house shut against the penetration of Western education, it seemed like the future would be full of doors no son of Garba would be able to unlock. But destiny is a dogged shadow, chasing and chasing until it caught him in Jada. God bless Kawu Ali, who had learned to believe, even in those grassroots times grazed by doubt. He would register the little dreamer in a school and did not scorn his baby steps as if to say, yes, even the Iroko was once a tender seedling, learning to survive the rage of seasons. So dream, let the stars guide you. This story is about the path the dreamer towed through toil and tremor, tempest and tide, eating failure like yams. Some of them were hard to swallow, but it takes a man thirsty for triumph to keep watering his spirit when losses come encroaching like desert sands. Orphaned at 11, mother's heart gave up when the star of a chap began to glisten. He faced the world with a wrestled smile. Someone once said, grace is God's gift to you, but discipline is the gift you give yourself. Tito Yodetdo. This is Atiku, and Lord knows it takes a man yearning for mastery to refuse to open the door when the urge to give up comes knocking. This is Atiku, giving back generously to the very land that turned its back on him. Mounted castles where only shacks once stood. This is Atiku, who does not just say education is the key, but has forayed into the fairy furnace to forge many keys for our children. The man who has stood the test of age and times, who has ascended realms only few have dreamt. This is Atiku, battled the pressures of the Echelon to return to us as the diamond in the sky, who has scattered his seeds of unity in a land fragmented by shallow loyalties. Atiku, the man who has built empathy out of resentment, resilience out of defeat, and grace out of grass. This is Atiku, wazirin Adamawa. Namiji barkono, mai akuya yayi tafiyan dare ma bale mai kura? Ai wajen saukan doki ba, wajen saukan jirgi bane ba. Kuma koda kura baya cizo, ai ba za a hada ta da rago ba. Kuma mun san cewa kowa na Allah ne, amma dai damo ai na mai gona ne. This man, willing to speak our problems into the light, is but a deja vu, and trust the man who has done it once to do it again. For out of Jada, a bud of hope has risen like a prophecy, and this time it will not wither in vain. By the light of his heart and the willingness of the people as active stakeholders in the business of actualizing the greater tomorrow we all dream. Nigeria, the universe is calling. It is our time to answer.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Every Woman on AtikuLive, and today we're looking at economic prosperity. And Alhaji Atiku Abubakar said that he's going to build a dynamic economy for Nigerians, and we believe him firsthand, because I mean, when someone has done it before and the person say I will do and even do more, you would know that the person means or meant, is that right, what he said? Because we have said that he has first-hand experience, and this is no brainer. We've seen his achievements when he was vice president, and it's something that we really believe that he's going to do more. We're not going to be having a president who is absent, a president who is unaware of what is going on. Our present president doesn't even, I'm sure he doesn't know that Nigeria is experiencing a high inflation rate right now. I'm sure he doesn't even know that we're going through serious insecurity. I'm sure he doesn't know that there is, let's look at the most recent. I'm sure he doesn't know that some parts of Nigeria, they're actually flooded. And already we have poor infrastructure. Adding a natural disaster to it is going to actually dampen the economy the more.
You know, these things that you said now, these are all the things that keep Nigeria where it is at. Now, for example, in Edo State now, there are tanker drivers that are parked on the road. They're not moving, they're protesting. Why are they protesting? Because the roads are bad. And this government has failed woefully in that sector. There's no road in the south. No, it's not, I'm not kidding you. There's no road in the south, and I'm talking about federal roads, major roads that link one state to another state. Terrible. That link major cities. Terrible. These are federal roads, not state roads. You cannot move past Abia State into Akwa Ibom. You see, the federal road is terrible. And you have, each time you pass that place, I say this, and it always sounds like a joke. You have to pass through one new community every time. It's one new community, and the youths are there. They're taking taxes, they're collecting taxes for you to pass through. And this is a federal road. A major road that links one state to another. I'm looking at certain places. I'm looking at Kogi, between Kogi and Abuja, where the roads are really like terrible. And somebody said once you leave Abuja, there's no road.
True.
And it's just terrible. So these tanker drivers are parked there. Not just tanker drivers, the ones carrying food, these heavy lorries and trucks, they are parked there. They are not moving. Because even if they wanted to move, the roads are bad. And then you come out every day, you see one new truck has fallen. One new lorry has fallen. Why would it fall?
On the road, yes. And then the roads
are bad.
They keep getting dilapidated every day.
And you wonder how this affects our economy. Now, in Abuja, we don't have fuel. Why don't we have fuel? Because the drivers are there. They are not moving.
There's no road to move.
You want to take fuel from the south and bring it up here. You cannot bring it up because there's no road for them to bring it. And they are there, like they're literally there. There's fuel in that. They're fuel in those tanks, and they can't move. They can't bring this produce in. What do you think is going to happen? Of course, there's going to be inflation because the people who have access to food supply here, or who have access to fuel, they're going to start hoarding it.
True.
So these things are not going to come in. And this is the same thing that we see year in, year out. Aren't we tired? Are we not tired of seeing the same thing?
It's time to make a better decision.
Better decisions. Yeah. You're looking at ethnic conflict. You're looking at Benue State, where we had farmer herdsmen clashes. Yeah. And then you have these clashes. Where's our food coming from? Benue is the food basket of the nation. If their farmlands are being destroyed, where are we supposed to get food from? And then you're destroying these farmlands are being destroyed. Nothing is being done about it. No security. Nothing is really, these issues are not being addressed as they should be addressed.
It just looks as if Nigeria were not actually going through issues. Like everybody's we're gotten used to it.
I don't know that way, because every day it's like
it's a new challenge.
New turn. It's a new twist, a new turn, like you said, and it just keeps going. And these are all of the things that affect our
Growing up as a little boy, we were told every day that we were the leaders of tomorrow. Good roads, stable power supply, good education, job opportunities, political inclusion, better health care, reduction of the cost of living were some of the things we were promised in tomorrow. We were so excited about the hope we had been fed with about tomorrow. But days went by, years went by, and tomorrow never came. Turned out there was never really a plan for tomorrow. It was all a lie to keep us in their mental slavery. Growing up as a little boy, we were told every day that we were the leaders of tomorrow. Good roads, stable power supply, good education, job opportunities, political inclusion, better health care, reduction of the cost of living were some of the things we were promised in tomorrow. We were so excited about the hope we had been fed with about tomorrow. But days went by, years went by, and tomorrow never came. Turned out there was never really a plan for tomorrow. It was all a lie to keep us in their mental slavery. Because with each day that goes by, I see my country being stripped of her glory. But we know better now. We are more aware now. It is time to take our country back from these hijackers who keep recycling themselves. If this tomorrow must come, we will have to create it ourselves. But this time, with someone we can trust. Someone who understands our pain. And so I call on every Nigerian youth. Come 2023, come out and vote. Because our vote is our power. When you vote, vote for a man we can trust. Vote for a breath of fresh air. Vote Atiku Abubakar for president. Growing up as a little boy, we were told every day that we were the leaders of tomorrow. Good roads, stable power supply, good education, job opportunities, political inclusion, better health care, reduction of the cost of living were some of the things we were promised in tomorrow. We were so excited about the hope we had been fed with about tomorrow. But days went by, years went by, and tomorrow never came. Turned out there was never really a plan for tomorrow. It was all a lie to keep us in their mental slavery. Because with each day that goes by, I see my country being stripped of her glory. But we know better now. We are more aware now. It is time to take our country back from these hijackers who keep recycling themselves. If this tomorrow must come, we will have to create it ourselves. But this time, with someone we can trust. Someone who understands our pain. And so I call on every Nigerian youth. Come 2023, come out and vote. Because our vote is our power. When you vote, vote for a man we can trust. Vote for a breath of fresh air. Vote Atiku Abubakar for president.
I apologize for that break in transmission. IJ, we were saying something, and I think that comes from technical issues.
Yeah.
We're looking at poor infrastructure and how it's affecting our economy, and how most of these tanker drivers and truck drivers are unable to circulate food across the 36 states, and it has kept us where we are today.
Yeah.
It has made us to be at one particular point. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar wasn't wrong when he talked about privatization and paying more attention to the non-oil sector.
I mean, he has also talked about the infrastructure, because he understands that these are the problems and these are the challenges. So it actually, I mean, seeing it firsthand shows you that this person has knowledge of what the problems are. He understands what the problems are, and he knows the solution. Better road connects, and these people can bring in their products, whether by rail or by road or whatever means. If you provide better infrastructure, they can get across these
I think you said something that I really like. Rail. By rail, I think we need to have more rail stations. We need to have because it's also a means of transportation.
Yeah, it's you know, it's more effective means for such products, because what we have is that because the roads are substandard. I mean, mostly outside here, the roads are substandard. Because these roads are substandard, when trucks ply this road, lorries ply this road maybe 3-4 times, you know, they start to spoil.
Yeah.
So if this is a problem, then let's consider rail as an effective means for, you know, moving things from one place to another. I mean, we could also have cargo, we could air freights and stuff like that. So yeah, that's also something that we should look at. Now, another thing that also is a problem, and that's what you know, he also hopes to address, is the problem of the government. The government is one of the problems of the our economy. Now, the government wants to have monopoly of businesses. It wants to be in charge. And Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is saying that businesses should be privatized, because the way people treat their businesses, the way they treat private businesses, treat their businesses, is not the way government treats businesses, which is why he was also pushing for NNPC to be privatized. And then he's saying that some of these things, look at PHCN, for example, when it was being fully and solely managed by the government, we saw how poor it was. But just by privatizing these things and, you know, allowing private investors to come in and take, there's been a lot of reforms. You could see how much changes this brought about. And even though the government did not remove its hand completely, which I feel like they should have, even though they did not, you know, withdraw completely from managing the business, I feel like there was still a lot of successes that were, you know, that
was recorded
from just that transition.
True.
So a lot of other businesses, if you look at every institution that is solely managed by the government, there's always a problem, because people are, that's why you have ghost workers and stuff like that.
I'm
poorly
sorry
managed.
to actually cut you, IJ. Because this thing you're saying is very practical. It's something that is there, everybody can see. Take a trip to a general hospital and take a trip to a private hospital, and you can tell the difference.
Went to a general hospital to do a test, a government hospital to run a test. And with my small knowledge, emphasis on small, my very small knowledge of health. And we ran the test, and a result came out. And I remember one particular figure being outrageous. I was alarmed, and I felt like something was terrible, like this is
something
wrong.
Was wrong somewhere.
I felt so, wow, like there's a big problem. This is a very big problem. And then we went to see the doctor with the results, and the doctor did everything, prescribed the drugs, and I was like, doctor, are you not seeing these figures? Are these figures not above the normal range? Are these normal? And doctor said, and this is a general hospital, a federal hospital. The doctor looks at it and goes, they're always making these mistakes. This one, like this, in something as sensitive as
I'm telling you, everything that is, most of the things that are solely managed by the government always have some sort of laid backs and blockages, you know, some sort of restrictions.
There's so many things that are not being done properly. You see the hospital you mentioned, that's a very apt, you can't, if you drop parallels between a government hospital and a private hospital.
And we've seen a lot of careless deaths from general hospitals, because what would you call that? The way the staffs, or the nurses and the doctors in private hospitals are being taken care of and being paid is far different from the way the nurses and doctors in the government hospitals or general hospitals are being taken care of. And this affects the way they function. It affects the quality of service that they give out.
I mean, it's very important. It's little wonder these doctors are leaving Nigeria because they're not being taken care of. Every 2 months or so, they're on one strike or the other. And then you look at teachers.
I was coming to that. Private schools,
public schools, everything that is solely managed by, federal, by government, there are lapses. There's always comma. There's just something always off. And
it just mismanagement. It just boils down to mismanagement.
So we need to start.
Nobody's interested.
I like how he says it. If you listen to him at his campaign rallies, the speeches he makes, he says, I know that people might not be disposed to, this kind of this way of thinking, but it's a business. And he is a businessman. And he sees the running of Nigeria as a business. It's a transaction. It's a transaction between you and Nigerians. I give you my vote, you give me this. It's a transaction. So I want a better economy. In exchange for the better economy you're going to give me, I'll give you my vote. This is what I want. It's a transaction. I'm not going to vote for somebody who does not have my interest at heart.
True.
There's no need. It's a transaction. So for him, he sees this as a business. And let's not forget, Atiku Abubakar is a very successful businessman.
He is.
From when he was still in the customs, where he was able to enter real estate and made a lot of money from real estate, to today where he has schools. He has a school that he's running and he's making money from it. And this is a school that has stood the test of time. And who just doesn't understand the private part of business. Sector. But the managing business for you is different from managing business.
Manages human resources.
Human resources.
It's really the most difficult resource to manage. I'm just going to pick up another point of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, which is achieving diversification. And he had said that a diversified economy with strong linkages among key sectors, notably oil and gas, agriculture, and manufacturing. 7 years, we've just been focused on one area, which is oil. We haven't actually explored other areas that could boost our economy and could put inflation on food products. We won't have, because if you place emphasis on agriculture, you will know that you need to work on the roots.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's the transport.
Everything is intertwined.
You grow something, you have to move it. And I like that. I mean, it's very important for people to actually get this policy document and read it and understand. Like I keep saying, if and when P2B brings out his policy document, I will still look at it. I've looked at Tinubu's document. I've gone through it and I've seen that there's really nothing here, really. It's just the same things that you've been saying before. And if somebody is giving you a policy document, also look at the capacity of the person.
Sure.
If I meet, how they sell books on the road, how to become a billionaire in 2 weeks, and you're looking at the person selling the book. And that's what we're looking at now. So if somebody brings a policy document, I'm looking at the person bringing the policy document. So you cannot tell me that you're going to provide this, and this. You're going to make sure that we have technology, and I'm looking at the person that does not even have a website. And like, really, how are you going to do this? You don't even have a website. You don't see the need for internet. You don't know a thing about technology. How are you going to deliver technology to me? So in that regard, it's important to also look at the policy document side by side, place it side by side with the person who is putting this forward, and see if the person has the capacity. Done this thing. You see that there's a capacity. He says, I'm going to have an infrastructure development unit within the presidency that is going to relate, with the people, MDAs, and fast track the provision of infrastructure. So you see that this is a detailed plan. It's not an overview. It is a how. I've said I'm going to do this. This is visible to the blind and audible to the deaf. This is how this is going to happen. There's no questions asked. If you have this unit, it's going to relate with these people. It's going to make sure, okay, what are the challenges? What are these? What are these? How can we solve this? What is needed to solve this? What funds are needed? And we put funds there because I understand, or he understands that if these funds are available to put this infrastructure in place, this is what it is going to translate to for our economy. And a better economy, a more prosperous economy, equals to happier Nigerians. Happier Nigerians is our goal. I mean, that might not be the goal for some other aspirants, but that is what the goal is here. So if we have our infrastructure in place, first of all, it follows that economic prosperity will definitely, it's going to be on the increase. And then he also says that he's going to also provide incentives. How much it costs to run a place like this? You're paying so much in tax, you're still paying to run your business. And the basic things that should be provided that will enable you to run your business are not being, they're not there provided for you. So it's the cost of running a business in Nigeria is very
really
expensive. And if you understand that our economy is driven by entrepreneurs, is driven by SMEs, then you know how much of a threat this poses for our growth. And then he also says that he's going to make this create an enabling environment that is attractive to foreign investors. Yeah. We know that FDI, foreign direct investment, have fallen in the past couple of years. The way to do this is to attract people to invest more in our economy, and this falls back on the things like security, because nobody wants to invest in an unstable country. We don't want to invest in a place that is unstable. You don't want to, and then you need better policies, because nobody wants to invest in a place that the policies are shaking and
policies that do not have implementation.
No, nobody wants terrible policies, poorly thought policies. That is even what it is. Poorly thought out policies, and then you formulate these policies, and they are there, and they are not favorable to to manufacturers and for production. They are not favorable. Nobody wants to to invest. If people are like, imagine people that were importing rice, for example. I'm using that as an example.
Yeah.
And people are importing rice, and somebody's container, I would like to say like an Igbo man, his container was on the high sea, and then you now say, I'm closing the borders. What happens to the person's product? I mean, this was done to somebody. What happens to all the products?
Not just somebody, something we experience in Nigeria.
No, this was done to a particular person that basically shuts down that arm of that business in Nigeria. So I won't want to mention it, but this is what it is. So the policies that we're implementing, the policies that we're formulating and implementing have to be thought out. You have to carry the people along, because these policies are made for the people, not the other way around. The people are not made for the policies. So you have to think about the policies. How does this affect these people, negatively or positively? Somebody thought closing the borders was a good idea. Somebody thought banning foreign rice was a good idea before their local rice had been brought up to par. Yeah. Somebody thought it was a good idea to go ahead and ban the foreign rice. And what did that do? People were sneaking the rice in, and we are now paying twice as more for both foreign and local rice. What did we end up like? I mean, what was the? I don't understand what the point was in that.
What you called it, poorly thought policies. I think we like I said, we're actually going to be having a longer time to talk about these policies, because we need to really educate Nigerians.
There isn't really enough time to talk about this.
Yeah, we need to carry out lots of sensitization so Nigerians to know that this is what we're putting on. We're not just telling you anything. We're showing it to you, and we're explaining it to you and showing you how it's going to work. Tomorrow we'll be looking at the 7 strategies Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has put out there to achieve the economic development agenda. And I'm sure if Nigerians actually look through this, you would be excited, because this is something that someone has actually sat down to think about, to think through, and know that this is what will work best. We've said it that he's a successful businessman, both privately and publicly. So this is something that he didn't just wake up one morning to put together. It's something that he has thought it through and know that, okay,
and businesses that we know
will work.
When you say, I would like to, let's place emphasis on that. When they say he's a businessman, every other person can claim to be a businessman. The other 2 candidates can claim to be businessmen. Well, what are their businesses? Please, I would like to say it. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's businesses are out there in the open, registered. Everybody knows this is his business, this is his business, this is his business. Let the other people also come out. I challenge them to come out and tell us what business they're doing.
All right, guys, this is the much we can take on today's episode of Every Woman. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you picked up 1 or 2 things. And please do well to go read up on the policy documents of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Understand it for yourself and know that we're not just marketing anything to you. These are policies that have been thought through properly, and we know that it's actually going to be beneficial to Nigerians out there. Till I see you again next time, please do well to send us what you think, your suggestions to every social media handle, and please follow us across social media handles. My name is Tiana Walbasi. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day.
My name is Ijoma. Keep watching. Until I see you tomorrow, have a very, very prosperous day.